I swear my flow is priceless. They can't find a receipt for me. Recently, I've been spreading love vibes through the frequency, overtly disobedient. They say I lack common decency, cause these parrot lyrics make you say each bar repeatedly, frequently. I find myself avoiding the hate and hurt. Cause secretly your girlfriend really enjoys spoken word. I give a two shit about your clinical diagnosis. You lip shits have more rats under your rugs than New York City tenants. I sit on crime like a sentence and pick up time like my wrist just started to get a little lonely. So I got a rollie to lift its spirits, hallelujah, and praise this iced out Jesus posing as a noose. A bunch of boys on the block arguing about who got the juice. It might eliminate you. Walking around with scowls like Pac's face on the elevator. All right.
Woo. Was that the end of that?
No, it keeps going.
What is that?
Freestyle. I literally just write things and that come to my mind.
I was listening to that thinking, I wish I couldn't do this, but this is how I operate. To tell a story just to make a point. I think about all the former college football players or high school football players, all these different levels of being good over time, watching the NFL and thinking what they can do and what they can't do, and like feeling some sort of animosity or love or appreciation because they can see a version of that being done, or they've been in a similar situation, but obviously on a lower scale.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With that, listening to you recite lyrics that you've written down from your head rhyming, I was like, I don't know how he's such a hip hop fan. I'd be so pissed. Like, I'd be so mad if I knew that in my tool belt was to rhyme and entendre and word device your ass up with a message. I'd have an issue listening to
like regular people.
Danny Brown sometimes.
Well, I mean, think about, compared to your expertise, right? So like in football, like when you saw somebody that was like just really talented but didn't have a lot of skill sets, right? They're just really talented. They just ain't got skill sets, right? You still enjoy watching them. You still enjoy kind of seeing them play.
And vice versa, actually.
And vice versa. If you see
Shout out to JJ Watt. Like, I think he's somebody who is like very skillful and very good at being technically skilled.
I mean, the technicalities.
Not that he's not talented, he's just stiff in his talent, which makes him seem more skillful in what he does.
Of course. I mean, the technicality of sports and the kind of knowing how to play the game is far more interesting to look at than just a naturally athletic dude jumping out the gym.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's like I found in my travels, the best players on the field are the worst coaches. Because they don't know how to break down A to Z something they do so naturally.
Straight up.
And so, like, God-given.
Straight up.
Shout out to Bryant Young. He was a 1997 first-round draft pick defensive lineman from Notre Dame. When I went to Notre Dame, I did the research on all the defensive linemen there that were All-American stuff, and he popped up. He ended up coming back as a GA after he got done with his 14-year career with the San Francisco 49ers. Won the Super Bowls with, what's the big one? The famous one. I played with his son at Notre Dame. Joey Montana? What's his name? Joe Montana. Played with Joe Montana, all that stuff like that. He was the worst football coach I've ever experienced in my life. He was in charge of the scout team, which I was on, and we were trying, and he just didn't understand. He couldn't coach us up because he just was. Yeah. He just was this elite
look, y'all.
Lineman.
I'm gonna show y'all one more time. All right, I'm gonna show y'all one more time. This is how you do it. You hit him with the bang, the boom, and the pa. All right, the bang, the boom, and the pa.
See, out there doing drills with us. He was 315 with a 6-pack. Running our drills with me. I'm dying from these conditioning drills. And he said, Newman, keep your chin up, son. Use your lungs. I grew up on waffles and oatmeal. I grew up on waffles.
You're missing a child. And that being said, shout out to another talented white dude that I know, Steve. I play basketball with him. I play basketball, pickup basketball with him.
Oh, yes. And he's a fan of you and vis-a-vis fan of the podcast.
Yes. And it's like bro is so I hate when he defends me because I'm more athletic, but he's more intelligent in
The game.
spacing and everything. He'll do this thing where like he
knows how to
keeps
move without the ball
he
more than
blocks
you.
me out. No, not even yes, moves without the ball better than me, but also moves. Oh yeah, moves without the ball.
Yeah.
Bro, he does this thing where he blocks you out like right after mid court.
Yeah.
And you're like, why is he fucking blocking me out? Like you trying to get to the rim and he's like blocking you out. And then he's looking and they throw a dump pass like right in the middle and he runs and gets in 2 points. Like I'm like, okay, you skillful bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when it comes to hip hop and stuff, like that's the thing that I see skill sets. I recognize skill sets and then I recognize raw talent. And both are interesting to look, are interesting to consume. MF Doom, skill set, crazy skill set. I mean, raw talent as well, but crazy skill set when it comes to the devices and the poetic devices used in rapping.
R.I.P.
Right, and very much so R.I.P. And then you got Cash Kid, who is just like talented with putting similes and metaphors together. They're just absolutely ridiculous.
You know who I forgot? I'm trying to figure out how the way to say this. I forgot made me feel a way when they rapped. Kendrick Lamar. I just randomly went on Apple iTunes and went on like a Kendrick Lamar Essentials. You know, they just played stuff between Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn. Basically, I was hoping to hear like an Untitled, that Untitled track. I didn't really listen to it like that when I was in LA.
Young nigga, don't ask.
But I forgot. It's been so long that I forgot how much I felt better about myself from listening to Kendrick Lamar.
Interesting.
Like I forgot, and I'm glad. I hope he puts out new music soon. But you can just always go back. You can always go back.
I think that's the thing about music is that it puts us in whatever space we were in when we first were introduced to it. So every time we revisit it, it's like time travel. Literally, if you put on Kendrick Lamar's Untitled set, I go back to visiting you in California on my birthday.
That's funny. I go back to being in California, driving an hour and 20 minutes to and from work. Because when Lance talks about that visit, he came the next week. Like we got the apartment. Lance came the next week. So it was very early. So I came. So I'm thinking about that title. I'm thinking about driving an hour and 40 minutes to and from the Johnson's family house in La Cañada, Pasadena, California, because I was staying with them.
You said La Cañada?
Let's call it La Cañada, Flint Ridge.
La Cañada?
La Cañada, yes.
Keep going.
I'm just saying, but I remember playing that disc because I had so much time in the car going to and from work. Then it was like first couple. That was the top of 2016 probably. I think it was January 2016 that album came out. But anyways, speaking of Kendrick Lamar, and I know we have topics to actually get to. Jack Harlow posted, and I know I'm not just follow me here. Jack Harlow posted yesterday some freestyle of him as a
kid when he was like first starting out in middle school.
Yeah, rapping.
And he said,
you saw that?
Yeah, if Jack don't get mad if Jack
Don't
doesn't text back.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I would like to come to your party. That was fire. Fire! Exactly what a middle schooler.
Want to come to your party.
Exactly what a middle schooler should be rapping about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I didn't text you back. So, but he posted this on Twitter, right? It was getting some traction. About an hour after he posted it, I was in the comments and somebody said something about Kendrick Lamar liked this post. And I was like, wait a minute. What? And I went and looked and did my research. In 2019, Kendrick Lamar liked a post from a rapper talking about Nipsey Hussle. The next post that he liked was this Jack Harlow post that Jack Harlow posted last night on Twitter. Kendrick Lamar's on Twitter again. So maybe there is a project coming out. But I just thought that was so random that this piece of Jack Harlow content of him rapping in middle school saying this is the realest shit I ever wrote.
Jack,
Is the only thing Kendrick Lamar has liked on Twitter.
Jack keeps getting stamped. He keeps getting stamped. He's getting stamped more than Eminem.
Multiple people have sent me his Tiny Desk, and I still haven't watched it. But multiple people was like, "Hey, bro, your dude's good." I think Gullick sent me it, and I think Captain Lewis Moore sent it to me.
The What's Poppin' version is the Tiny Desk version of that is way better than the actual version of What's Poppin'.
That song wasn't supposed to listen. That whole album, I don't want to get into it. We're gonna get off music soon. That whole album, Confetti, should have gave him the attention that What's Poppin' did, but he took the wave of Confetti and going on tour with the wave of Confetti, and then after that was like, and then just put out What's Poppin' as a throwaway, and it changed his life. Crazy. He's been spinning for years now.
A lot of us have. It's very interesting, and I truly believe that people are blessed with things when they are ready for those things. Like if you're a rapper right now, you're like, if at all you're listening to this and you feel the need to feel some type of hate, right? Some type of hate because he's a white dude doing black music. You want to. There's no need to, bro. Like we are all spiritual beings inside of bodies that we had no choice in picking, and it's like, on our journeys, we are given things when we are prepared for those things. If somebody has been working and doing something since middle school, and then you see them reaping the benefits of that, after 7-8 years of putting in work steadily on it, like that's what manifestation is. And because you don't understand that is the reason why you can't manifest shit in your life.
But also, I do think that poo-poo on that person who's not manifesting things in their life. But I do think there's something to hard work. And I know we've been on either side of this thing. Like I am a big believer of no pain, no gain. You're on the other side of that. Because there are comeuppance. Like people come up out of nowhere. But I think there's when it comes to stuff.
What? Go ahead, keep going though.
I was gonna say like Trinidad James, but I almost have more respect for Trinidad James than Blueface.
Blueface has a longer career, or is already like tracking to have a longer career than Trinidad. So
yes, he is.
Unfortunately,
he is, definitely.
Go ahead.
But it's like how people acquire wealth, right? It's like some people are born into a family of wealth, right? In this analogy, Jaden Smith, right?
Come on,
as a creator,
come on,
right? Some people were working really hard at it and was always trying to scratch through, and then like finally made it. You can, I don't know, Bryson Tiller, it comes to mind, but you can talk about Jack Harlow, who's been on the scene for a little bit. Or you can like slip and fall and inherit, like hitting the lottery, right? The one thing it hit, and now you're famous. I don't know of a one like that. Actually, I don't know of one like that.
What, where you like had money already and now you're famous?
Like a rapper. Oh, some of the younger guys is kind of like that. Maybe like a what's the kid's name? Mo Bamba. But the guy who made Sheck West.
I don't know about. West. Okay.
Sheck West. Sheck West. That was his first hit. Post Malone might be in a version of that. He was doing music.
Oh my God! Did you see that video?
But White Iverson, he made.
Did you see that video where Post Malone posted his middle school, or somebody posted his middle school? Yeah. Don't compare our white boy to that white boy.
Okay.
Do you feel what I'm saying? Like that was crazy.
Yeah, but he's so much of a hit maker that I do think that there may be some serendipitous.
Interesting.
Like he is a lottery ticket. Yeah. Like there's like some people that just are.
Well, I was thinking less rappers and more like socialites. So like the Kylie Jenners, or the
OJ's connected to that, and that kind of started him at reality TV. So
but I'm saying like they have money.
That's kind of like being born into reality TV, and also they have money. But it was kind of being boring. That's like an example of like the Rev Run's kids. You know what I mean? Like not only is their father Run DMC and changed hip hop for what it is today, they also grew up on television or with the spotlight on them, especially with their uncle Russell Simmons.
Grew up in front of all of us, and we all like, because it's a capitalist system. You have to be exploiting somebody to actually make it in this kind of economic strata.
Scratch
So
my
it's
back,
like,
scratch yours.
but like fame is one of those things that is a moral like come up. It's like you have to
Explain that.
like you have to step on. Well, I guess there is instances where people do step on people to get famous and
Absolutely. Shark shit.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking like how we were talking about just pop up famous. Like,
I know.
I guess there is no pop
but
up
there's
famous.
not. I was like,
There
it's not
isn't.
a great example.
Joy Taylor.
Actually, no, I think that
20 years.
I do think there is some instances of that, especially now in the social media age, right? Where like a viral star, Lil Terrio.
Now we didn't come up in this age, y'all, where this social media
Honey Boo Boo
stuff that y'all got that where people just could
Oh
post
my
something
gosh.
and get famous off stuff instantly. If y'all listen here, and I say it in bitterness, you might hear some bitterness in my voice, but I am you fuckers. Like I'm so pissed that I was born right before they started having things for my age range. Like I was born before Brave New Voices, which was a youth poetry team and kind of competition where these 16, 17, 18-year-olds, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds are like becoming popular or going viral based on their poetry. It was like another platform and it was sponsored by HBO. My whole time I sent in a VHS tape to HBO's
Lance
Def
is
Poetry
shaking
Jam.
right now.
HBO's Def Poetry Jam, I sent in a VHS, all right, a cassette tape, audition tape. That is how, like, right before the generation, the technological boom or the kind of easy access to personalities, like, and you know, in everything in its time. I wasn't ready for it then.
I would say
I wasn't ready for it.
Everyone has everyone's time and all the other stuff like that. Especially, I mean, I think about the recruiting scale now, like all of these high school kids, high school athletes that are just good at football or whatever sport they're playing have thousands of followers on social media. Thousands, dummy amount of followers. And I think that was right after the generation of where I was at on social media, because
Oh my goodness.
at that point in time, there's a rule right when I went to college that college coaches were no longer allowed to text recruits directly.
Okay.
They were not allowed to reach out to them directly via text or call. That ended right after I went in. The only way that you could communicate was via social media. So all these athletes will have all these coaches following them and tweeting at them, and they were only allowed X amount of DMs a month. Like that type of shit was regulated. So then all these fans were just like following these kids that these coaches were following. So there's the reason for all this, everything that happens. I do want to switch to television and movies.
All right.
Switch it up just a little bit. The Golden Globes Awards happened last weekend. We didn't do any preview talk about it, but they happened.
I didn't even know.
It was on the 78th annual Golden Globes. The only reason hosted by Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. I don't want to minimize it, but I do want to say one of the reasons why the Golden Globes is so popular is because it's a continuation to see what Oscar season is going to look like. You know what's going to happen with these motion pictures. So or the whatever films happen, and it's a. I say it was a good nice showing. I saw Daniel Kulaya. I really need to learn how to say his name. He won Best Supporting Actor in a major motion picture for Judas and the Black Messiah for playing Fred Hampton.
Okay.
Obviously, and he was up against a lot of big people in that, so that was really, really good for him. The woman who played Billie Holiday in that Hulu movie about Billie Holiday's life.
I still need to watch that.
I still need to watch it as well. She won the
heard it
United
was
States
sad.
versus Billie Holiday. Audra Day is her name. Sacha Baron Cohen won for Best Actor in a Motion Picture for Borat, the subsequent movie film.
About time.
That's interesting.
Because
That's
that is
good.
a whole that is
It didn't
true.
seem like-
that is true method acting. And for the Academy not to recognize movies like his, like that's going to end up being a thing to where he
bid out
portray.
Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton in that.
Of course.
Oh, that was for musical or comedy. It wasn't just all of them. So that it does. Because I was like, why is the competition so bleak. It was Andy Samberg in Palm Springs, James Corden in The Prom, Lin Manuel Miranda in Hamilton, and Dev Patel in The Personality History of David Copperfield. So it wasn't a musical or comedy, but he definitely deserved that. Right?
Yeah, I want to keep going on my persona piece though. Like that is going to be the new. That's another wave of
What persona piece?
him playing Borat.
Oh yes, please,
Like
yes.
Sacha Baron playing Borat. Sacha Baron Cohen, excuse
Yes.
me. Is he a Cohen brother?
No.
Oh, like that being able to embody somebody and play a movie out of them. Like,
Well,
right?
it's
It's been done, but it's been done theatrically. This is
Yeah.
done like guerrilla, like reality TV. Like like
the
that.
thing
Like
you say,
like real life. Like
but here's the thing, because when you say that, it sounds like you're saying become someone that already existed versus becoming an original character, right?
Right.
That's a little, and also becoming an original character in real life, because obviously
Right.
all the SNL skits, they have popular characters make movies all the time. What was it, Molly Shannon and Superstar, The Night of the Roxbury's, Ladies Man, Pat. You know, I mean, like all these SNL movies that
fucking
became
superstar.
so
Coneheads.
good. Coneheads, exactly. But actually being
Oh my God.
yourself.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Ow! Hey,
good.
that's one of those movies that me and Brandon, like, we died. We laughed
Molly
uncontrollably.
Shannon Superstar is the funniest shit. Like, I wonder if it holds up, but it's so good.
It's so good.
So
It's crazy. It's such a good.
It may
and I don't
just
want
be
to be
nostalgia
loud.
talking, because I think
No,
it's
no,
really
no,
good.
no. It's one of those movies where we laughed uncontrollably. Like those moments where you
So
like
funny.
can't breathe because you're laughing so hard. And for some reason, it was like that part.
I got another one. You ready? Me, Myself, and Irene.
Okay.
That was when we were dying in the theater.
But I don't remember like not being able to breathe.
When his black sons,
Hold on. I remember. Go ahead.
when his black sons was saying anything like the smart hood dudes was talking, they grew up watching Fred Sanford and Chris Rock and all
the
those
black comedians.
Yes,
They watched black
and
comedians.
they were black. Obviously,
They were
Def
black
Comedy
comedians.
Jam. Def
Yeah.
Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
Speaking of Deaf Poets Society, but yeah, that movie, and also Jim Carrey was like, we've talked about our love for Jim Carrey, but like flawless in there.
Flawless.
And as much
Absolutely
as I hate on
flawless.
Renee Zellweger, like who else could have done that?
Who else could have done that?
I don't know.
It was oh my god. So it's good that these movies are now being kind of noticed. I'm glad that Daniel is getting his clout and getting his clap.
Great speech.
I know that he's probably like a humble dude, but like I would love to see him just talk
He's
shit real
not.
quick.
He's not cocky. He's almost like, I would liken him, speaking of rappers, I would liken him to a Kendrick Lamar, in a way that like he knows who he is and how good he is, and like he knows that like whenever he flexes a muscle, people have to pay attention. Like he knows. Like it's
I mean,
I was excited
Fred
to see that in him.
He killed Fred Hampton.
Best actor in a motion picture drama, Chadwick Boseman. My Ronnie's Black Bottom. Have you seen it?
I have.
I have not seen it yet. I still
It's
need to
it's
see
a
it.
stage play, right? So like it comes off as a stage play.
Yeah,
but
popular right now. Malcolm and Marie.
Malcolm and Marie.
Another
But
stage play.
that is for theater lovers. I feel like that's no consequence. Like that makes it, especially if you can
Makes it what?
makes it a better movie, because you are working with a limited amount of space, but you are the acting is carrying it.
Yeah.
So like in that movie, the acting was like,
Really?
oh my god, she has a
Or
line.
Viola Davis was like,
Oh my
'cause she also
God.
gained weight to play.
I
that
forgot
character.
that she was Viola Davis. On God, I forgot. I was like, bro, she has a line in there where she said, she's like the whole movie. It's a spoiler. Oh, that's me. My bad. It's a spoiler. It's a spoiler, but like the whole time she's waiting for them to buy her a Coca-Cola, and it gets to the point where like she is being a bitch. Like she is being downright Why is she being so difficult? And then she says, you make these motherfuckers get you a Coke. Because as soon as they trap my voice in that box, they don't need me no more. So I'm going to use them and take them for everything they got. What's a Coke compared to legacy, compared to, my voice? Because she's older and the way she's talking, which is so dope, is like so reminiscent of the juke joints and kind of having to play the
What's the
Chitlin
story about?
circuit.
Obviously, I imagine
So Ma Rainey,
Ma Rainey.
Ma Rainey, y'all. If y'all don't know about Ma Rainey, she was one of the biggest performers on the Chitlin circuit. The Chitlin circuit, if you've never heard of that, is the venues that black people could perform in, and it went during segregation, and before. It was like the only place black people could perform, the only places that black people could be entertained. Examples of this are the Apollo, the Empire, the Regal. There's sort of 3 in New York that were big theaters back then. But anyway, as
The Apollo was on the Chitlin circuit?
yeah, definitely. Wow. That's why it's so, and it's one of the only. It's only the one. It's like one of the only theaters that are still like in relevance.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're ever in Harlem and you walk by, it feels like that entire neighborhood at this point in time has been built around that theater being there. And they just did a versus that I heard was not good with D'Angelo. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It was just him
and Apollo. Some people jumped in.
Oh, okay. It was D'Angelo and friends.
Yes. But anyways,
I got some nice. We're gonna bring back D'Angelo. We're gonna bring back D'Angelo. But Ma Rainey. So yeah, she was on the Chitlin circuit, and she was like one of those. So it was just reminiscent. Her whole character that she portrayed was just reminiscent of this. Like, I grew up in sharecropping. Like my mother was a slave. I may have been a slave when I was younger, type thing. And it's like it's the color purple mixed in with Malcolm Marie, more actors, and I don't want to say better acting. I'm just going to say they captured the time period a lot better.
Would you say that Chadwick Boseman deserves this award? Because there's a lot of, obviously, we talk about posthumous.
Posthumous. Stop saying the mos. Stop adding the M. It's posthumous. Posthumous. It's not no R.
We had
posthumous.
We had this conversation with Michelle. She corrected us. We looked it up. We learned. We forgot. But but they like to give awards to people who have passed. His wife gave a beautiful acceptance speech on Zoom. Beautiful. She had a beautiful dress. Literally looked like she came out of Wakanda. And wow, Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, Tari Rahman, and Riz Ahmed all set and waited. Those are the other people that were nominated, and so he won. So I was wondering. I see,
he definitely deserved it. If you're gonna give him an Oscar for any of the roles he's played,
right?
Definitely this one.
Like, honestly, he was the only. I want to say this. It's a bad take. Yeah, I'm gonna say it anyways.
Okay.
I have to say it. The only good acting in the Five Bloods.
No, it's good that you said it. It's something to consider, definitely. But what I'll say also for his performance, that is kind of negative, but it's only negative because what they give black people awards for, right? Mm-hmm. But that trope of playing the absolute bottom of blackness, or morally, the absolute bottom of morality of blackness, right? Denzel Washington. And these are all Oscars, but Monique, Denzel Washington.
Those are, but this is why Golden Globes kind of
Halle
foreshadows
Berry.
What happens.
But
Golden Globes foreshadow what happens.
He's a hood nigga.
That's
he's a hood
good.
Nigga in that
That's
mug.
good to know.
It
and
is.
I want to look at it again. Speaking of that, Training Day, Denzel's Washington's only Oscar.
Which
on
is
Netflix right now.
Ridiculous. It's on Netflix?
On Netflix right now.
That was a great purchase, Netflix. What took you so long?
Man.
I wonder.
They go in and out, though, because they just have them for X amount of time.
Right. You lease them for an amount of time, right?
Yeah,
But I mean,
don't-
I'll imagine what the price of that leasing is, and y'all don't went up
imagine-
Netflix in
I
like
imagine it was
2 times a
elsewhere.
year.
It's not 2 times a year, but it has been at least once a year for the last
Mm.
4 years, which is a lot. I think it may have been on Amazon Prime before that. Speaking of Amazon Prime, coming to America is going to be on Amazon Prime on March 5th.
Yeah,
March 5th, Amazon Prime coming to America. Watch that. I saw the long trailer recently. I'm interested in the storyline. I'm glad Leslie Jones is there as the woman that he slept with while in America, just randomly. I love all of that. Yeah, I'm excited to watch. Also Jermaine Fowler, who I'm a huge fan of. He was one of the main writers and producers for the new All That spin that came around. I mentioned him before because he was in the thing with Lakeith Stanfield. Sorry to bother you, or sorry to bother, or something like that. Right?
mother father. Sorry to bother you, y'all. You had a perfect score until you brought in the horses. As soon as you brought in the horses, it was
Lance didn't like
it
the
completely
turns
went
that
down.
narrative
That was
took.
absolutely a terrible turn, and I guess you was trying to like jump off a cliff with it, but you jumped to your death.
They said it's like some Bay Area stuff, like the Yay area. Those artists kind of get. They go. Well, Ryan Coogler is an example of it, and he just does everything perfectly. So I don't really know if that counts. You said you like Ted Lasso, right?
Yeah,
That won Best Performing Actor in a Television Series,
And it
music or
should.
comedy. Jason Sudeikis,
definitely
or
need
he
to.
won for his
Definitely
acting in
need
it.
to. You know what? Again, we talked about dude before. People win when the character isn't that much of a stretch, right? Like if the character is of them, then I feel like they win well. And you can tell like he may have been acting, but he was really probably being himself. If anything, he was being his father, and he did a great role of being his father in that position. Like I just feel like it wasn't a far stretch.
You talking about Jason Sudeikis?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was making sure. I was like that because I know he's a soccer coach.
Yes.
And that's, so like to say that he's just like being somebody.
Oh, you would love that.
It got me lost because I was like, wait a minute.
You got to watch
Talking
that.
about like Fred Hampton right now.
You got to watch that. I got to watch that Small Axe.
Have you seen Soul?
Yeah.
I haven't finished it. I watched it at Dad's on New Year's Day.
People
Just, like, put it on.
complain about the trope of like
I was
animated
a
characters.
little bit
Then you was messed up about it.
You talk about winning the Oscar for playing the bottom, right? For me to walk into a movie, obviously it's called Soul. I'm imagining a movie called Soul. Everyone talks about how much they love it. They said the twist, it was something. I see all this in social media. I sit down to watch it. The guy's a jazz musician, a jazz teacher. I'm like, oh, so like, okay, we about to get some Ma Rainey's Black Bottom type shit, right? Then he dies, the black dude we're talking about. And then we no longer see, then I tweeted at this. I was like, I wish I would have told me Tina Fey was the black dude when y'all was talking about this movie because of the whatever happens with the body switch shit. So like, I do feel a little bit away about that because it's another example of wanting a black face and not a black voice. Obviously, not in an extreme way. You know what I mean? But that's why like Princess and the Frog. I feel like that is more. I have less issues with that than I do with the concept of this whole thing for Soul. But I do have to finish the film. But it won for Best Motion Picture Animated.
Yeah, it should have. It's not a whatever, man. It's when black people get to create the animations, then we will start seeing proper representation of black people. As long as there is another voice trying to tell a black story, it will forever be on a messed up lens, like you were talking about. So Brandon came over. He was setting up earlier before we started the podcast, and he was telling me about this one guy. He's written a lot of stuff. He's pretty important. Brandon's going to introduce him a little bit better than I.
Yeah.
But he was talking about a play that the guy put on, or a theater play that the guy put on, and it was just. It just wasn't right. It was good. It was good, but the voice just wasn't the voice of its intended audience.
It was not the voice in particular, because the voice was nuanced and reflective and all the things you would want a social commentary to be. It was the narrative that took a turn at the end that was like, okay, let's get some hands on this. Like let's get this ready for the public, because right now this is just another version of a horror story for Black people in America, just because of the overt power from the white characters side of things. But yes, but that was this guy's son that we're talking about. But I didn't want to go.
I mean, I was going into that. So Brandon, he was living in California. I was going to segue into Norman Lear. That was Golden Globe talk.
Oh no, well I think no. Here's the segue.
Okay.
Lifetime Achievement Award winner at the Golden Globes was Norman Lear. Norman Lear won his Lifetime Achievement Award. The 98-year-old writer, creator, director. He brought to you All in the Family, Sanford and Sons, One Day at a Time, The Jeffersons, Good Times, and obviously the spinoff of Golden Girls Mall.
These are all, except for the last one, Black shows written by a white voice. Just to be clear, kind of tie into what we're talking about,
and also starring all black cast.
Real one.
Other than All in the Family, obviously.
But that's a real one.
But All in the Family was the beginning, and then he did the spinoff with the Jeffersons, and that was kind of thing. And then obviously Good Times is his own specific thing. But this guy, Norman Lear is who we're talking about. I've known about him for a long time because I grew up watching the Sanford and Sons. I grew up obviously watching Good Times.
Hey y'all! Shout out Raina, Elisa, and Tasha. We used to be over on Vanessa's house, and listen, it was a schedule. It was a schedule. You had like breakfast, and then I think it was like either educate. No. What we would do is watch TV until lunch. After lunch, we did like the activities. But like that morning TV set, it was like the Jeffersons. It was like what was next? The JJ and them.
Good Times.
Good Times.
Yeah.
It was and it was like once 227 started coming on.
I feel like Mary Tyler Moore's show may have came on every now and then. I feel like I saw her working in her studio office. Cheers.
No, but see, I don't remember any. It was like 3 black shows back to back.
Oh no. Yeah, you're right.
Like right before lunch, it was 3 shows back to back. It's like an hour and a half.
Say the ones you said again.
It was Good Times was second. The first one was like. I had it. I said it.
You talking about with
Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son, like
Sanford and Son, Good Times, and I think it was that one with Reggie. Hey rerun. You know what I'm talking about? Rerun.
He was a Fat Albert.
Fat Albert was the animated series did come on.
I thought it was after. It might have been 227 with all the all women cast.
227. I'm looking it up now.
But so these things just come on.
I didn't think it was that. I thought it was the what is the one with JJ? Not JJ.
That's Good Times.
I know. I'm talking about Rewind. He did the little black guy with the red hat. Fat black dude.
Fat Albert.
No. He had a red hat, a red shirt. What's it called? Oh my gosh! If you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about.
But if you were born, in the '90s, maybe early '90s, late '88, people are we're old. We're so
we
old.
are now.
Old.
I'm 31.
We are so old.
I don't even know what a 31. If I'm thinking about myself when I was 8, I don't even know what a 31-year-old looks like in my mind. Like I don't even know what that person is.
And it's, let alone 31. 98. So Norman, right? He created all these things. The
nanny used to come on.
Okay, he created all of these things. And we grew up with him. But the guy Brandon, his connection to the dude.
Let me back it up because I've had aspirations of being a television writer. I still have those dreams. Dreams don't have age limits on it. Speaking of age, and I want to write comedy for television. And we're obviously grew up watching television, and it just like that whole sitcom nature, like love affair. We'd love to be a part of that from the jump set. So I followed Norman Lear a lot, just like the things he made. I wrote a paper in college about how Family Guy and All in the Family was similar to the Jeffersons and the Cleveland Show and like that whole. Because like Peter Griffin is basically like Archie Bunker, you know, and that whole thing, even down to the green pants and white shirt. So like I've been studying this guy. Then I go to the Late Show with David Letterman, and he comes on as one of the last guests for the Late Show, and it was Norman Lear's episode, and I asked somebody to switch so I could watch his interview. And he was like 95 at this point. No, 90. Early 90s.
Yeah, it was
at that
94, 93.
So he had his book, and I wasn't going to buy the book, but I was just like, oh my God, like this guy so important. I like this guy a lot. Then I go to LA, living out in LA. Shouts out to Eleanor Rose Bray. Her sister has a art show called All Boats. I talked to you about it. I was hoping you could be a part of that actual performance. But it was All Boats, and she used to do it in Brooklyn and New York when we was living out in New York and New Jersey. And we used to go to her loft, and they would do – it was just like a curated art showcase, and the concept is All Boats Rise. You know what I mean? We're all watching. We're all enjoying. And I got a chance to do a 10-minute stand-up set to open up for this All Boats thing for her friend
Nice.
Eleanor's sister Julie.
Nice.
Julia, I'm sorry, I said Julia. Eleanor's sister Julia, and she went to NYU, and a lot of her NYU friends were there and things like that. And that's where I met one of the guys who, the guy who plays the DJ in Insecure, Daniel.
Oh no, you just named like 5 or 6 people, Brandon. Keep going with
But
the
yeah, but
Norman
anyways,
Lear.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I do stand up at that show. It went well. It was fun. A month later, I get an email from a guy saying that he was at the show, writes professionally, and wants to get with me about like writing a sitcom.
Love.
And we started meeting up. He came onto the Fox lot in his beat up Prius, and we talked for a long time. His name was Ben Lear, I'm thinking of it. And we got really close, and we met about 2 or 3 times. And then Eleanor calls me and was like, I heard you got are writing and like working closely with Ben. I was like, yeah, no, he's awesome. It's funny, cool guy. He's interesting. And she was like, do you know that's Norman Lear's son? And I was like, no, I did not. I did not. I had no inkling, no clue that he was Norman Lear's son. And he is, Ben Lear, Norman Lear's only son, him and his sisters. And Lance wanted to tell, and Lance teased this actually at one point in time and said, the whitest party, or the whitest thing that he's ever done was via me and a trip to LA and a poker night.
Yep.
At Ben Lear's house.
Yep. It was decadent.
So no, you can set that up because I gotta go pee. I want you to actually tell the story.
Okay. Before the story, we've got about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Keeping to time. So look, y'all. All right. I'm in LA, and I'm thinking, it's LA, right? I've actually been before, so it's not. But this is like my first time as an adult, and then it's also like my birthday. So Brandon just so happens to have this poker game that he's been invited to. Who gets invited to poker games, right? That off top, that was like the LAist thing I could ever think of, right? So then we go, we're headed there, and we're driving, and it's like he's taking me in the hills, right? In the mountain, like in the hills. You talk about California, you talk about LA, and you're like, oh yeah, you think of famous people on parties, like looking at balcony or standing on balconies that overlook onto the whole city, and you're up in this hill, kind of hidden, tucked off, surrounded by all this like minimalism, right? But it's very like modern, even though the facade of the crib kind of looks like it used to look. So anyway, we're driving through these hills, we're going up. The whole time I'm thinking like, what fucking famous person am I about to run into? Like, is Drake gonna come jogging down the street? Like, this is just the most gated community, but it's not gated. It's just difficult to get to. So we come in, and it's a poker night. Like, you got chips and stuff. You got like refreshments, all the bourbon you can drink. You got like, and it's white dudes that like have like it looks like Target clothes, but they're clean, right? It's like everybody's wearing clothes from Target, but they're so clean that it's expensive. Like you can look at it and be like,
Love Target
I
clothes.
bet that feels very good on the skin. I bet it does. So anyway, we go in there, right? And I'm in my mind, I'm kind of consciously recognizing what I look like amongst all the other stuff because me and Brandon were the only black people there.
Yes.
There was an Asian that he was kind of comforting. He thought that he kind of switched between the two, which was nice. He was cool. Yeah. Everybody else was like super white, and fairly gay. So we go into. I don't think it don't matter. So we go into we were playing poker. And this is all Ben Lear's doing. So Brandon, this guy that he's talking about, he's like, oh, yeah, that's Norman Lear's son. And see, that's another thing about whiteness and blackness that we don't necessarily get. Like, black people can be humble in the face of somebody really famous because we don't know you or like care what you do. Like, we're not even asking about your money, nothing, but like white socialites or social kind of life kind of exist around who you know, and if you know this person, then that's a big thing. I get that all the time where like I'll be talking to somebody like, oh yeah, oh you're having it there, oh I love her, yeah, no that's and I'm talking to like somebody really really rich. Mm-hmm. So the fact that this other really really rich person, and y'all are now talking about me, even better for me, right? Yeah. So we're in there. We'll keep going. Go ahead. Yeah, interject.
Side note. Mm-hmm. Obviously, whatever. I know Ben, we're friends, stuff like that, whatever. It wasn't until I know Ben went to a specific high school in LA that a lot of celebrities have their kids go.
Mm.
So he told me the school or whatever, and obviously like it's a name. I don't know the name. I forgot. I forgot.
Rich McRich Ellington.
But anyways,
high school.
When I was in New York at Barstool, we interviewed Bob Saget for the radio. I posted it on Instagram when we did. I talked to him afterwards, and I was like, I know Ben Lear. I said I know because he mentioned Norman Lear, and I was like, I'm good friends with his son. He's like, oh, you know Ben? I was like, yeah. He was like, he's best friends with my daughters. Like he dated one of my daughters in high school. He was like, tell him. And I like text him and stuff like that. And like that was as famous as Ben has ever been to me. Because like Bob Saget was like geeking out about. I just said I know Norman Lear's son. I'm friends with him, and he was like, Ben, my daughter. I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh yeah, Ben's cool like that. Ben's cool like actually. I mean,
but no. So it was a cool, and that cool describes the evening. It was a cool evening, all right, and it was just really it was spectacular. It was spectacular.
Is it fair to say that Norman Lear was the funniest person there at 90, whatever? And the other person he had with him was like his helper. So I don't even know if he's just like.
I don't think he was funny.
Help. You didn't think he was funny?
I didn't think Norman was funny. I think that he was the most famous person there. So therefore, everybody laughs at his jokes.
When he had a chance, when he had pockets, there was a
few times.
The first joke of the night. There's some guy who I don't want to do this. He works for Jim Parsons' company or whatever. But he was watching a Cowboys game and he was late. Mm-hmm. And we were deciding if we were going to play. And Ben was like, I'm surprised you're not watching the game. I was like, I'm here at White Poker Night with my brother who's in town. But he was like, should we start he was on speakerphone. We were all sitting at the table. And Ben said, should we start the game without him or should we wait? And then everyone was silent because nobody knew, we didn't know what the protocol was. And out of nowhere, Norman Lear just says, fuck him.
That was funny. That was very funny.
Just started dying.
That was funny.
So I was saying like that.
But it was a lot of laughter, peer pressure going on.
Oh,
where like it's Norman Lear. So
I mean, it is.
Are you not going to laugh at Norman Lear?
He won 2021's Lifetime Achievement Awards.
He also won a lot of the money in the poker night and then left. I thought that was so disrespectful. I was like, what is going on right now? Just so y'all gonna just let this old nigga get up out here with all the money?
He's in his 90s. It's late. You imagine he's going to leave at some point in time. But there was a point in time where he was up handedly, and was just like told his handler, he was like, "Hey, let's go." I remember I handed him his cane. I talked to him about seeing him on Letterman. Had my time with Norman Lear, and he left with all of our money. I was out long before.
If I could,
I'm not good. I'm not good at playing poker with like. It should have been broken up to 2 tables.
mm-hmm.
There was too many people playing one game of
Mm-hmm.
poker.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
It was like 8 or 9. It was just a lot.
Who
Like,
knows? It was
separated.
my LA experience. It was crazy. After we got done, because me and Brandon got out fairly early. I stayed in longer than Brandon, which I could have stayed in longer.
You bought in again.
I did buy in again. I would have lost a lot more money there. I was
so
heated
pissed.
because I could have been. Oh, I'm not a good gambler. Unless it's dice, I'm actually very good at shooting dice.
You are. I've seen one.
Yeah.
Some money.
But anyway, so like, yeah, no. But afterwards, man, everybody's just kind of chilling. We sitting on the patio, and in that view over the thing.
Little relay.
Oh my goodness. I'm a very kind of empath and kind of spiritual person, right? So these experiences aren't like physical in any way. It's like my soul is kind of looking outside of itself, and I'm just kind of looking at myself from above it's astral projection. Like I'm looking at myself in this situation from above, right? And I'm just like just taking it in and it just save it in the soul file. Like this is it's a goal. It's like, you want this.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, it's
not
something.
want this, but it's something
it's aspirational because, like, I mean, you want to be able to be successful enough to like afford a life like that for your child.
Yeah, straight
let
up.
alone you.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? So like, that's kind of what. And that was the first time I think I went over Ben's house at night to see that view, like at night, and because we worked on the stuff during the day and work on whatever we're writing on during the day. So to have you there and it be such a new experience for me as well, it was like a movie. It was very, very, very much.
Very much so a movie. It could have been in Insecure with the two brothers talking about blackness at a white poker game.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool.
He just texted me and said he knows what he needs to work on and asked me what I thought Ben did.
Oh, that's funny.
Just kind of like, oh, okay.
Look, we talked him up. We can.
Let's switch.
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up, y'all. All right, so look. Today is March 4th. And when we say March 4th, we mean marching into the future. Speaking of futures, today we'd like to say happy birthday to Carter Kanai. All right. Happy birthday to Carter Kanai. All right. Little big boy walking, talking, picking things up and trying to test his strength at such an early age. Brandon, how do you feel giving birth to or helping give birth to baby Hercules?
It's
1
something.
year in.
Actually, the funny thing, he does not watch TV. We can't get him to sit down for more than 5 minutes to watch anything. He was glued to Hercules the other day. That was on there, and we know that's a big one.
Funny enough,
we really like that.
Funny enough,
yeah,
you're a year in. You're a year into parenthood, Brandon. How's it feel?
It's I feel like things are going to ease up around age 10. But it's definitely a push. It's a blessing. I think everyone does it for different reasons and has children, have children, decide to have children for different reasons. It's kind of taken over everything, but definitely put things in perspective as well. Yeah. But yeah, I'm blessed. I'm honored. I'm thankful that Carter is my firstborn son. I'm thankful to be helping raise Michelle's child as well, just because of how much I love her and she really is my best friend. So it's funny to kind of just be in a position to be there to help raise a friend's child who's obviously my wife. But I see the landscape, right? I see the challenges ahead. I see the joys ahead. I think one thing I've learned since we had him in March 4th. Obviously, a week later, the pandemic started, and we've in a time where I knew we were going to be launching a podcast with Willie and I in Barstool. Let's just go back to that time period. since we're a year away from that day where Michelle's had Carter, 6:17 p.m. March 4th. It was I was worried I wasn't going to spend enough time with him when he was first born because I knew I had a lot of work to do at Barstool. I knew like we were going to be launching around that time period, but I also knew that Willie just had his child, so I knew he was going to be kind of focused on that as well. So I was worried the entire time she was pregnant that like I wasn't going to get a chance to see him grow up. Like it was a big fear for me going into her pregnancy. And for life to happen the way it did, it's almost like another situation is like when we play and God laughs type of thing. Like I've seen, like, other than X amount of days that I came up here for Apple's funeral, and I think I had to go to New Jersey after that. Like other than maybe 10 days, I've seen Carter every day of this first year. His first 365. I've seen him for at least 350 of them, and it's just a blessing. And now we're here in Louisville and settled to an extent. I have a way to pay for him because that was the biggest thing. The reason I feel like I was money chasing and went to Barstool to chase the bag was because Michelle was pregnant. I was like, we need money. Like I love Maybe I'm Crazy. I love Joy. I love Heller. I love Donnie. I love this process. I love
California.
I love LA. I love Marina Del Rey. I love our apartment. I love randomly running into Game at our favorite restaurant, The Game, and his family. I love going to Lakers games. I love going to Kings games. I love going to Dodgers games. I love going to the beach. I love In-N-Out. I love donuts. I love sunshine. I love my family visiting LA. But with all those things, I was like, we're having a baby. We need money. This opportunity came up with Barstool, and I was going to be able to make more money, a lot more money than what I had been making. And I was like, you know what? Like, we have to. Kids coming, we have to make this jump. And it just wasn't. Not that I didn't need it, because I don't take back that time period at all. Carter was born in New Jersey, so shout out. That will never change. Lance was born in New York City. That will never change.
Lil Lance,
yeah. So I this tie to the East Coast and the Northeast is cemented into our family at this point now, especially with LaToya, whose birthday was yesterday. Shouts out to March 3rd, 3-3, holy birthday.
Happy birthday, love.
But yeah, so I think that kind of makes everything kind of serendipitous. But I am very, very happy of where we are now. I'm working for the good guys. I just feel settled in an important way, and I'm so thankful for Carter. We pray every night before bed. After bath time, we get a little prayer in. And I'm thankful for him. I really am. I think God has blessed us, and I'm happy. He's 1 year old, and I know it's a low stakes birthday because he don't remember it. You know what I mean? But it's still monumental for the parents. They're just like, damn, we just did a whole year of this thing
for the mom. I'm never excited about any of my kids' birthday. Hurry up and grow up. I'm tired. I need you to remember birthdays, and I need you to participate in birthdays, and I need you to.
You kind of like how I was with Rhodey. I told Rhodey, I said, "Hurry me a dog." I didn't like the puppy face.
Yeah, man. I want you to take.
What do you want to do with him, or what do you want the kids to do, or what do you want the adults to do? Make their own.
Yeah, I like
you don't like the
dependent. Yeah, the dependency of children, of like little children, is the most annoying thing in the world.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. There's nothing like an autopilot of parenting. Like the first 5 years, because those are developmental years, you need to be really, really hands on.
Yeah.
And it's stressful. I mean, it's like it's what
full-time job.
It's crazy. And then like after that though, it's like it gets easier and easier because. Like Zoe's, my daughter Zoe, she's 9. That's my oldest. I've been a parent for almost a decade now. And she's like making her own ramen noodles now. And it is lovely.
Microwave or stove?
Stove.
Stop.
Yeah, man.
Zoe's advanced.
I mean, we were cooking at a young age.
We were too.
I got into it at
Zoe's advanced. I was saying Zoe was making up knock knock jokes to me on the fly by the age of 2.
Not 2.
She was 2.
It was 3. It has to be 3.
Okay.
Two is still babbling.
She was
Kingston's 3, and he's like, I mean, Cora's 1 in something. Zoe was not making full. Anyway, so that's good, Uncle. Like, think what you want to think about your exceptional niece. But the dependent or the independent child is a favorite of mine, and I think that I'm going to kind of develop. I think I'm going to develop that into the rest of my children. Like, Daddy needs you to go do what you're supposed to be doing.
I had a conversation with Michelle the other day that I was like, I think a lot of your frustration towards me in the child rearing process is you want me to be a mom. And
Yeah.
I just can't.
And we're not. No.
I'm not.
Nope.
Like, I don't. I was telling her, I was like, I'm building a profile. I'm building a following with the TV show that will work. Brother from Another, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm thinking about the flow of content that goes into it and like when to post what and how to say this and wording things like that. I told her, I was like, it would be like if I inadvertently expected you to know those things or know to worry about those things. Like, you being a mother is a whole other world.
They worry about the other worlds. So the other realities that exist
But
where
they
your
should.
child,
They need to. But I'm saying, but
stretch yourself out if you want to.
It's not about stressing yourself out. It's about like there are
Stretch
actual
yourself
things that you need to like. It's not good that we aren't concerned with those things, but it is good that there's a parent to concern with those things.
Right, because that's the balance, right?
But
Because
that's
the balance. You need the balance, and you need the spectrum, the full spectrum from. Because like I am prone to wait until somebody cries very loudly before I like worry about what they're doing. So like they'll be upstairs
You
as long as they're not.
I love the sound of kids crying themselves to sleep.
Good night. I hope you sleep longer. Like but it's a light. I'm not gonna be completely neglectful. You ain't just about to be up there doing whatever you want to do. But for the most part, like, go to sleep. I'm not now. Latoya, she wants to sleep with kids. She wants to be there to pat their back for an hour and a half. Fuck out of here. I'm not about to. I can't. I'm sleepy. This is making me go to sleep, and I have tons of work to do.
Right.
Like, let them cry. Now, mothers, they can't take a baby crying in their hearts, right?
Yeah.
They can't.
Michelle
they
has an issue with it,
right? But male lions eat their children all the time.
Out of jealousy.
Out of all types of things. I mean, if provoked,
yeah,
wrong,
if they're hungry, yeah.
right? Fathers are just. What did somebody say? You know that a woman has.
You compare yourself to a lion?
No, I mean I did, but inadvertently. I don't
Okay.
think that I'm a lion.
Okay.
Yeah, and even though I would like a pride of them bitches. No, so what I'm saying is, y'all, we are growing. I also wanted to say, since we're talking about birthdays, my birthday is coming up. All right, I will be 33. All right, this is what they call the Jesus year, in which he died and was resurrected. They don't tell you he was in Egypt through his 20s, learning education, learning magic, and how to turn water to wine, but they don't tell you that. So he comes back.
Magic.
He comes back, or he dies.
I rebuke that. Just to,
Of course you do,
yeah.
Christian. He comes back and he he resurrects himself. So with my 33rd year, I'm in much of a resurrection mindset. Like, I must kill the things that the kind of bad habits that I've kind of attached to myself as coping mechanisms, as like self-medication things, as like just trying to abandon all those things and resurrect in who I was when I was younger. So like when I was younger, I could sit down and write 5-page paper in like 2 hours, maybe an hour, but like a complete research paper, and it's nothing. Read a book like it's nothing. Memorize anything and literally regurgitate it back to you verbatim. I was just a lot smarter. I was a lot more inquisitive, had a clearer mind, right? So like now I will be talking to somebody and I cannot find the word that I want to use, and the word is always the perfect word to use in the situation, but my brain just cannot find the word. So I end up using a different word, and it's like it's poetic or whatever, but it doesn't state what I am trying to convey. And it is the most annoying thing in the world. Every time it happens, I'll be like, I gotta stop smoking. Like to myself, I'll be like, man, I gotta stop smoking. I gotta stop.
So you use your strength of poetry as a defense mechanism because you don't know just the literary term for what you're
Boom.
trying to go after. So
Boom.
you like
People accept the artistic
illustrate-
versions.
You like illustrate. Yeah, I know.
And people are like, "Oh, wow, I love the way you said that." Yeah, motherfuckers, because I couldn't
I had
think of
a-
the plain way to say it. That's why.
I had to learn that's what you were doing with the copy for these podcast episodes. So you used 12 words for 4, but yeah, I got you. I followed. But no, that is a good. Oh, so how's the cleanse going? I meant to ask you about that. Like, how's your-
Everything's halved, so all the vices that I used to enjoy, I've cut them in half, in their enjoyment.
how's the half? Like what?
I was good 3 blacks a day. Now it's like 1.5 maybe. So like that one that I'm smoking one right now. That's going to, like, after I'm done with that, I won't smoke again until like the kids go to bed. So it'll be half of that, and then in the morning when I take my morning dump, I'll have that half there.
Nice.
Yeah. So working on it.
No, I was just asking because I was wondering how the half. I was thinking like a time period thing, but no, that works. That works perfectly.
Yeah. And then like yeah. So we got a few podcasts before we actually get to my birthday. And I'll introduce my birthday festivities when we get closer to my birthday.
You've said
but
but yes, well,
I've said them on Twitter. And then but yes, but I want to put that in your ear, you all. I will be having an exhibition of my art for my birthday. It'll be an exhibition of my theater art, an exhibition of my poetry, and an exhibition of my visual art. All 3 will be held in Mormon Gallery on Main Street across from KMAC on the 2nd floor. That will be March the 20th from 5 to 9:30. You can go on Eventbrite and let me know you coming. It's free to come. I'll have tons of merchandise and also art to sell. So you can save your money on the ticket, but buy something, motherfucker. No.
Comes, yeah, show love.
Yeah, show love. Spread love.
Show love, spread love. I wanna get a chance to type kind of wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that we could go on and on about other things, but let's do some T's and P's. I want to. I don't know how to bring this. I don't know how to address this, but obviously some states are opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi's opened up immediately. Texas, I believe, is opening up March 10th. That's obviously opening up, meaning everything's open and no mask mandate. There's people in Texas that were using rainwater for bathwater a couple days ago because electricity was out. But yeah, let's get the commerce back by opening everything up. I think some other states are doing it as well. There's no walls between these states. Obviously, United States, you're available to govern individually, and it's not the president's job to be a dictator over states and what they want to do individually. I support this. This is one of the reasons why California and New Jersey can sell marijuana, and different states can do different things. Different sales tax in different states, but
I don't know if I like it.
But Biden said that this mindset
It's also what's called
is
the Civil War.
Neanderthal thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and he said it was
Because it's what started the Civil War. All that states' rights shit.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, as much as I say I agree with states' rights, I don't agree that Texas tried to act like slavery wasn't a thing for about 14 years after it was abolished.
It's crazy.
So, and it's because these state rights things are the things that protect it. But I'd say thoughts and prayers to everyone in America. Just to go as bleak as possible, and this is what I'm struggling to say. I think at the beginning of this thing, we were talking about like, how many more weeks are we going to have to stay at home?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, how many more months? And then we're like, okay, this is our life now. I think these actions by our individual government, in conjunction with the fact that poorer countries that aren't getting vaccinated, the viruses are mutating and becoming different strains as we speak, so much so that the new strain we're not going to be vaccinated to. Not to speak against vaccinations. I just think that whatever version of life that we have now may be more another year of this because of these actions like opening up states. So thoughts and prayers to Americans traveling, doing anything, living life, getting vaccinated, not getting vaccinated. I think there's a collective fatigue and hurt right now, and I think everyone's trying to kind of figure out how to live within their hurt. Speaking of hurting, thoughts and prayers to Louis Nix III and his family. After his passing last weekend, it was really rough. One of the guys in the D line with me, just a good dude, was close with him. Not as close as other guys have been, and obviously, but when it comes to this locker room and spending time with you guys, each other, and especially in your specific defensive lineman room, you just get to know the guys a lot, and he was troubled for a long time, and he passed in a very, very sad way, and a lot of people had a lot of positive things to say about how Lewis touched their lives. So rest in peace to Irish Chocolate and him. But thoughts and prayers to everyone that is experiencing some sort of mourning at this point in time, and those trying to get healthy.
You said my thoughts and prayers. I was going to piggyback off of that, and just everybody who has passed from the Texas ice storms to all around the globe. Really, what we're seeing is a generation dying off. The baby boomers are clocking out, and it's like a triple threat of like virus, of like natural disaster, and of like just kind of falling. I mean, just old age, right? So,
yeah.
Thoughts and prayers to everybody's losing somebody. Our cousin just died, Walter Bailey, Walter Michael Bailey. He went by Michael, but this was Philip's father. So this is like mom's side and like our great cousins. Like they're related to us. They're our great grandmother's siblings, offspring. So he died. I went to his funeral the other day. Hannah Drake did a wonderful poem. Philip looked like he was holding up well.
Hannah Drake was at the funeral?
Yeah, she did a poem.
Why was Hannah Drake at the funeral?
To do a poem, Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know if she knew Philip.
No. Oh yeah. Philip asked her to do the poem.
The person who passed, Philip.
No. Philip is the son. So Philip.
Yes.
So Philip is our great cousin. He writes for USA Today, and he won a Pulitzer.
Him.
Yes, him. So his father died, man. It's hard. It's hard when your parents pass, man. So it's like just kind of holding on to folk while you got them, remembering to lock in and make good memories, and carry that, because it's the good memories that they live on through us. People be all in grief stricken. I'm like, man, their physical body, it is a pain living this life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it is literally a struggle. You are born and to die. Like, as you are born, you start to die, and it's like
dying every day.
It's like
get busy living or get busy
the spirit,
dying.
right? Exactly, the spirit and the memories you leave with people. I have a theory that that is our heaven and hell. That is how our heaven and hell is created, by the memories we left with people. Because when they reminisce about us, we exist in that memory. And if it was a bad memory, then we're existing in the hell of like their experience. But if it's a good memory, then we're existing in the heaven of their good experience.
I like that. That's
spread love.
Yeah.
It's a whole philosophy, y'all. All right. Thank y'all so much for coming to Podigal Sons Podcast, episode 18. Can't wait to check y'all out on the flip side.
Bye.